Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the FB4 Daily. Thursday, the 4th of July, Independence Day for any Americans watching. Straight in, damn, punctual 2 days in a row. I've been punctual every day, my friend. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. As I said the other night, it probably won't last. We'll see how it goes. Congrats, Grizz Khan is never on time. Really, trust me, if I tell Grizz Khan it's 10 o'clock, I have to tell him it's 9:30, and even at that he still doesn't show up. He's ridiculous for timekeeping. But look, this is the FB4 Daily for today, Thursday the 4th of July. First things first, most importantly, this one today is brought to you by Hendo Designs. Dan at Hendo27 on Twitter, Hendo_designs on Instagram. Go onto his Twitter page. Click on his bio, click on his link, you get all his work there. Superb artwork yet again from this man. Dan's a lovely fella. He is a graphic designer, he is a photographer, he's freelance, he does all this sort of stuff. So anyone looking for any of that sort of work like that, get on to Dan and he'll look after you. Another great sponsor today, as has been the others. All top lads helping us out on this show as the days and weeks go on. What are we going to start with today? Well, I want to touch on the Fantasy League football later on. We've launched that with the LFC Day Trippers. We will touch on that later. It's very quiet at the moment. Transfer wise, other clubs are doing a bit of business, as we've seen Spurs doing a bit of business the other day. I think Leicester have signed Jose Perez from Newcastle for around 30 million. Frank Lampard is the new Chelsea manager, which I don't know, bemuses me and amuses me in equal measure. What else is going on? Rodri has gone to Man City. I think they paid their 63 odd million buyout clause. It looks like an eventual replacement for Fernandinho. The young guy Felix has gone to Atletico Madrid. 126 million, I think, buyout there. So it's starting to move. But look, with regards to us, fairly quiet. One that's popped up today, and I suppose I'm not surprised it's popped up because it's basically popped up on in every transfer window for probably the last 2 years, and that's Danny Cabellos, Cabellos. Who is he? He's a midfielder that plays for Real Madrid. He's been linked to Liverpool a couple of times. He is Spanish. Yeah, he plays for Real Madrid. I'm just getting up his details here if anyone's wondering why I'm looking away from the screen. He is 22 years of age. He started out with in his youth career with Sevilla, on to Betis. He was with Betis up until 2017. Real Madrid 2017 till now, 35 appearances, 5 goals. That's all apart from Wikipedia. That could be completely and utterly wrong. But that's where I'm going to go with. He's been linked to us a couple of times, but I'm finding it strange. I'm being honest. I'm finding it a little bit strange that all these midfielders are being linked. It's the one position on the pitch I think we're fairly well stocked. I think the move with Grujic going out on loan again shows that we're fairly well. But look, if he's continuously linked, the talk is that Klopp is a big fan of his. So look, there may be something in it. There may be a cut price deal that can be done. What do we think of him? What do you think of him? I haven't seen a hell of a lot of him, I'm going to be honest with you. But look, it's another player that's being linked to us, and let's see how it develops over the next couple of days. Throw the comments in there, and look, we'll have a look and see what names come up. If you have any names that you have there, look, there's a good few people watching on YouTube. There's a few people watching on Periscope there. If there's anyone that wants to throw a few names at me, and we'll have a little chat about them. They can be left field, they can be ones that are solid, but throw them in there. Kev O'Sullivan says he's Spain's best player at the under 21 Euros in the 10 role. Again, interesting, Kev, the 21s and the 10 role. This is not the first player like this to be linked in this supposed 10 role. You've seen Bruno Fernandes. I want to get on to him in a minute as well, because there's a little bit of talk around him, and I don't know, people are starting to track planes and stuff like that. So you know yourself, when you're starting to track planes, you know, something's on the move. Bruno Fernandes we'll have a little look at in a few minutes. But Kev, you're saying in the 10 role, Bruno Fernandes was there. You know, you could probably make an argument that Shaqiri can play there. the name that Champy said, Lallana could do something in that role. Firmino can drop back into that role if you're going to play someone further up front. It's a bit peculiar for me the way Klopp, he's gone away from that system that plays a 10 role. He likes this solid 3. He likes them to have an impact on the game, but be more so workmanlike, get the job done. Put pressure on teams, control the game, and let the front 3 and especially the fullbacks go and play. So for me, Cabellos, if he's a number 10, as Kev pointed out there, if he's a number 3 or number 10, it's just a little bit strange. But then again, it's probably coming around because this Fernandes link is still there. Fernandes, let's talk about him. The reports are, now I've seen loads of varying reports on Fernandes, right? Fernandes, I've seen reports that he's on his way to England. He's going to speak to Spurs, United and Liverpool, I think were the 3 clubs mentioned. Then I've seen another paper say that he's only speaking to Liverpool. Then I've seen another paper say he's only speaking to United. There's a lot of things around this. All the reports have said he is on his way to England, or his representatives are on his way to England to either discuss with one team or have discussions with 3 sides. The worrying thing for me is if it's 3 sides, it's someone looking for their best deal rather than their football ambition. Let's be honest. If you're going up, you sign for Liverpool over Spurs United for me at this moment. You really do. You probably get more game time at Spurs. You definitely get more game time as United, but Spurs have made a fantastic signing this week. United, to me, are still trying to go the wrong way around things. But look, I'm not a Man United fan, so they're none of my business. It's just a man watching from the outside. What do you think? Kev, he plays for Madrid in their 3. He can play either side. Yeah, he possibly can, Kev, but if he's playing with Spain in the 10s, let's see. Another one, sorry, there's a name that's come in. Werner still hasn't signed for Munich, surprisingly, although it looked done. Werner, again, another name that's being linked with us. I think he'd be a fantastic signing for Liverpool. Absolutely fantastic. He can play all across that front 3. He's top drawer. He's been brilliant in Germany. He's been very good for the national side. We've spoken before about how good our front 3 is, and then you have Origi and Brewster at the moment. That drop off, somebody in the middle. He would be in the middle, but he'd be closer to where front 3 than I think than he would be to Origi and Brewster. Good name thrown in there by Louis Boy. If you have any more names, throw them in and we'll have a look. But just getting back to Fernandes, look, let's see what happens until he's seen or his representatives or something concrete comes out. Clubs are really good at the moment at not letting much out. Little bits of information, like the Spurs one was literally Ndombele is in London and then he was signed. There was a little bit for a couple of days beforehand, but they're really good at the moment at keeping things very low key and behind closed doors, so people can't really get a look and see what's going on and feed information. Kev O'Sullivan again, he hopes we sign a striker or wide forward, Neres or Depay. I know Phil from the Trippers is a massive Neres fan. Depay interests me. Again, people have said, he didn't make it at United. That United were a mess at the time. And people have said about Depay's attitude. That goes back to a bit about Dembele. If Klopp and Edwards and all these people identify, these players and they feel that they can get the best out of them, I wouldn't worry about people's attitudes. I think they'd come into line for Jurgen Klopp, and every player I've seen sign for Liverpool, the majority have been a success, and nearly every one of them have loved playing for Klopp. Even if they've left, they've talked well of Klopp. Look at Danny Ings the other day. He leaves. He does a big piece on Liverpool Football Club, how they support him, Klopp especially, giving him chances, telling him he'll get back. Being as supportive as they possibly can. Gerard Stiles says, I figured you were doing it to celebrate the 4th because our owners are American. I'm not getting into the owners today. No, I'm not getting into them. I'm not going there. All I can say is, happy Independence Day to John Henry and Linda and all the other owners of Liverpool Football Club. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. We won't go any further than that. But yeah, look, there's, as I said, clubs are really keeping their cards close to their chest and doing business and doing them quick. Cop 80 says Suarez. Yeah, we had a little chat about Suarez the other day. Again, 32 years of age. Suarez now, fantastic, unbelievable footballer, absolute madman, which I love, absolute madman. But you know, he comes in there. Does he shift Firmino out of the way? That's what you'd be worrying about. But again, I'm being a bit hypocritical there because I've always talked about squads. Listen, if Suarez became available for the right money, and you know, he's willing to go back to Liverpool, 99% of Liverpool fans are taking him back without a doubt if he could get 2 seasons out of him. Kev, do people think that Virgil puts up with shit at the national team from Depay? No, I wouldn't say Virgil van Dijk puts up with shit from anyone, to be perfectly honest with you. Probably only Jurgen Klopp and his international manager. But other than that, no, I wouldn't say Virgil takes much crap from many people, to be perfectly honest with you. One that came up last night, which amused me, because I'm doing this every day now. I have to trawl through Twitter and find all sorts of links and news and opinion and different things. But one came up last night, and it was about a guy called, now his last name is Maximin, Nice winger, young enough. I think he was with Monaco when I remember looking up last night. He's now apparently the news was that Liverpool had made a bid of around 15 million for a player from Nice, and this is the name that's come out. Now listen, if you know anything about this guy, you're watching way too much football, in my opinion. I looked him up though because I had to, because you know, that's, what did he say? That's your job now. But I looked him up, and what did I get? Yeah, young player from Nice. He let me see if I can find him now for you. No, I can't find him. But yeah, young winger. I was talking to who was I speaking to last night, and his name came up, not in a transfer sort of way. I actually was talking to Grizz last night, and I was saying to him about this guy, and he said, no, you know, I've heard of him, but I haven't heard anything and stuff like that. He was saying he was looking on YouTube at him. I didn't go and look at YouTube. I read that he was a right winger, fast, aggressive, things like that. Grizz reckoned he played on the left, so if he can play left and play right, we'll see what happens. But Maximin, I don't know. There's talk of 15 million, but this was all. I think it might have been a bit of a joke on Twitter last night, but it came out, and a couple of names came out last night. And funny enough, Sam Maguire's writes about Liverpool all the time. He had a piece out going back maybe a week or two ago. It was basically, I think it was 5 or 6 players under 25 million that Liverpool could target, and I think this lad was one of them. So he came up. If you go to Sam Maguire on Twitter, I think he reposted it in the last day or two, and you might be able to just have a look at that and see what Sam is exactly saying on it. Jared Style says Van Dijk took a lot of crap from Alisson for that back pass. Yeah, well, yeah, he probably listened to Alisson, in fairness. Coutinho was starting at Barcelona, says one man there. Coutinho is a strange one. I think Coutinho's future may, and it looks like, hinging on Neymar's future. Barcelona are still in for Griezmann by the looks of it, though that's not finalised, which is strange. I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody come in and try hijack that deal for Griezmann, although he seems to have his heart set in it. But Griezmann and Neymar going in, and you're definitely looking at a Coutinho and somebody else out. A straight swap, you know, Coutinho and Dembele out, Griezmann and Neymar in. I think there's no doubt about it. I think that's what you'd be looking at. The Fantasy League, I don't know if any of you play Fantasy League. A lot of people seem to. When you're on Twitter, it goes a bit crazy when the season starts. We've started one. It's open to all. I don't think there's any limit on the amount of people that can go in. It's free. We're not asking for any money to go in towards prizes or stuff like that. If you go onto our Twitter page, you'll find the tweet about it and the code to get into the league. And sorry, Kevo Sullivan. Sorry, just to interrupt there. Coutinho's agent has come out and said he's staying at Barcelona this morning. Right, okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But again, I'd like to see what happens with Neymar before any sort of concrete stuff happens on Coutinho. I don't think they can keep, Dembele, Messi, Suarez, and then add Griezmann and Neymar into that. It's and Coutinho. I think it's a hell of a lot to ask for Barcelona to hold on to all them players. A, money wise, and B, keep them happy. But look, yeah, the Fancy League. So what's gonna? Most people know how this works. If you don't know how it works, go onto our Twitter, click on it. You go into the Premier League fancy football site. You pick your team. You have, I think it's 15 players you have to pick. So certain amount of money to pick. Use. Then what you can do is you can join leagues. So you'll find their league details. You'll find their details on that. You click on it. There's a code to get into the league. You get into the league, and listen, a lot of people will go on, use it for a couple of weeks, and then they go off it. A lot of people are really into it. I can tell you now that from the day trippers, Ray Dickinson is big on it. Joe Walsh is big on it. Grizz is huge on it. Shawnee's huge on it. They're all big, and they'll be in this league, and they'll be, listen, if you beat, look, I'm hoping one of you listeners beat all four of them, because if they win, you don't hear the end of it. You really, really don't. So go in there, click on it, go into the league. There will be prizes at the end of the season. They haven't been finalised yet, but there will be prizes at the end of the season for, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, or we might do a couple of specials throughout the season if someone gets a mad amount of points or stuff like that. But look, go on to the Fancy League, join it. It's for free. It doesn't mean anything to you. If you do Fancy League, it just means you're in that Air League as well, and you can be in a couple of leagues, and you never know if you beat all them lads. I'll buy you a point if you beat all them lads. Let's be honest. Just wondering if us being extremely frugal this summer is for a chance of taking a run at Mbappe. That's 2 in a row there. There was another one saying, could you see Mbappe next summer? Listen, Mbappe is the most wanted man on the planet. Forget your Neymars and things like that. Mbappe is the most wanted man on the planet. He will, in the next year or two, in my opinion, become the most lucrative player in the world, as with regards to sponsoring him, image rights and stuff like that. He's huge. He's 21 years of age, is he? He's won a World Cup. He's been outstanding at Monaco. He's been outstanding at PSG. He's France's poster boy now. Mad money, mad money. Was it 160 or 70 odd million he went to PSG for? They'd be looking for that and more probably if he ever leaves. He's definitely going to stay at PSG by the looks of it this season. As of next season, you've seen this Mbappe 2020 thing going around with regards to Liverpool. It could be a case of that, but I get the feeling with these owners that they'll back Klopp if he wants to spend, and they'll back Klopp if he doesn't want to spend. Klopp gets the final decision on this. Make no doubts about this. He gets the final decision. All right, he has the likes of Michael Edwards and he has chief scouts and he's different things like that. But Klopp more or less gets the final say on this. After taking advice from other people, of course. I don't think he's that narrow-minded, not just to be tunnel vision on certain things. But I have a feeling that, for argument's sake, if Liverpool went and spent 100 and odd million this summer, and next summer comes around and we need to, maybe replace James Milner or a centre back, or maybe a Salah or Mane wants to leave, I have a feeling that we do that, and if Mbappe became available and Liverpool could put the package together, I think FSG would back Jurgen Klopp to the hilt. And if that was 180 million, I think they'd back him. That's my feeling on it. But look, let's see how it goes. Mbappe won't be going anywhere this summer, but next summer could be a possibility. And look, if all you want to be is in the conversation. Mbappe is the reason we're big on Brewster. Imagine if he turns out, as we hope, my God. Brewster, yeah, I'm dying to see in pre-season. He's probably the one I want to see most in pre-season. Let's see how he goes on it. Loads of talent, loads of raw talent. He will need games. He will need to, as much as he's watching this team all the time, he will need to get in about it. A bit like Keita needs to get in and about it again to, especially service in the front three. But Brewster, big talent, pace, power, real eye for goal, clinical finisher. I'm really, really looking forward to him. From the 11th of July we play Tranmere. I'm hoping Brewster's ready to go then. Zaha's worth a try. Klopp could knock the rough edge off him, says Bernard Farrell. Yeah, Zaha really plays well against Liverpool every time he plays against them, because he's really, really good on one-on-one. Bit of a rough edge about him. Yeah, Palace's best player though, by an absolute country mile. The talk is about 70 million. It would all depend, I suppose, if we are in, and I think we are in for a forward player. But it looks like, from what you read, Pepe is probably the main target. But look, if Zaha, I suppose you'll have to see what happens with Arsenal, because Arsenal have gone in with a bid. If they up the bid and it looks like it could be successful, you never know, Liverpool could have a look then. I still feel teams are watching other teams to see what level this transfer market is at. It has gone a bit crazy, but the likes of Felix going for that amount of money, City just paying out 65 for a buyout clause. You know, Neymar's the big one. Let's see what happens. Zaha's not a bad show. I think he'd be really good at Liverpool. I think, like you said, the rough edge could be taken off him. Tino says Zaha's price is ridiculous. Yeah, Tino, it is ridiculous. 40 million I think is ridiculous. It's way too low for him. But I think 70 to 80, and then Palace talking about wanting 100. Yeah, 80, 90, 100. But 60 I think is 60 is 60 is not a bad price for Zaha, I don't think, in the current market. Who was Grizz saying we will sign? Grizz is not saying anything, to be perfectly honest with you. Dor War, is it? I think the name is at the flashing it away me. But no, Grizz is not saying anything at the moment. He's going along, and he's watching everything as we're watching it. He hasn't come out with any statements about any players at the moment. Get onto him on Twitter and ask him, and see what he says. You won't get him till around 2 o'clock, because he's extremely lazy and he's pretending to be watching The Sopranos all the time. He's discovered The Sopranos about 19 years after it started. So yeah, that's what Grizz is up to at the moment. Kieran Tierney's cover for Trent and Rob will be a good option. Kieran Tierney is, I know I've been from Dublin, I know a hell of a lot of Celtic fans who rave about Kieran Tierney. I don't think the move for Kieran Tierney is, from his point of view, will be a good move to go to Liverpool. That's my opinion. I think Robertson's a better fullback from him. Kieran Tierney, if he leaves Celtic, Celtic absolutely bleeds green and white. Kieran Tierney. The big thing for him will be, does he stay for another year or two and try make that 10 in a row for Celtic that their quest is on, 3 trebles in a row. But Kieran Tierney needs, if he's going to move, it would be, there was talking Napoli the other day, but if he was to move to, for argument's sake, Premier League side, it would need to be a Premier League side that he goes in and he's number 1 left back. You can't stunt Kieran Tierney's career by asking him to come to a Premier League side and play 15 games a season. I think he's the sort of player that needs to push on now and build on his reputation at Celtic. And from what I've been told by lads that are season ticket holders at Celtic, he's extremely, extremely good. So I'd love to see him in the Premier League, regardless of who it's with, just to see how he gets on. But he's a prospect, him, Kieran Tierney. Anyone here asking about a left back, or are we going to stick with Lewis? The left back one is the most interesting bit to me. Not only because Moreno's gone, and I couldn't see Milner doing another stint at left back, and I don't want to see Joe Gomez being moved over there for any reason whatsoever. The interesting thing for me is the type of player you get. Now, I'll go back again and say I made a case for Sessegnon, and the lads kind of shot me down saying, no, he's more of an attacker. I'd stick by my guns and say, if Klopp brought him in and said, right, you're going to learn from Andy Robinson for a year, plus we're going to play you higher up the pitch as well, to keep you motoring and keep you in the groove. You know, if he got 15-20 games a season at Liverpool as a sub, or playing the League Cup game and stuff like that, I think Klopp could turn him into an outstanding left back. I really, really do. I made a case for Bertrand, because of his age, his experience, who he plays for. He'd get more money at Liverpool. He wouldn't be dogging around in the scratching around in the bottom half of the Premier League for the latter years of his career. I made a case from him. There was talk that Origi, Betis were looking at Origi, and this guy Firpo might be coming in the opposite direction. I think that might be a hard deal to do, because I think they value him around 45 million, and I think Liverpool might want to value Origi a bit too high for Betis' liking. They probably want a bit more money out of that deal than Liverpool will be willing to give. But the left back one is the most intriguing to me. Adam Lewis is the left back currently at the 23s. He started as a centre midfielder and then a left winger, and now he's gone back to left back. Rave reviews about him, but if we're going to see Adam Lewis get a chance this season, he needs to go on the tour. He needs to go on the tour. He needs to play against Tranmere and the likes early on in the season, and then he needs to go on the tour and see how he feels, see how he works out. You know, we had a guy in the tour last season, Nat Phillips. Now he hasn't been really seen since, but he was excellent on the tour. This is the sort of thing that can make a player, especially a young player. But look, we'll leave it at that. I want to say thanks again to Hendo Designs for sponsoring our show today. At Dan Hendo27 on Twitter, Hendo_Designs on Instagram. If you hit his Twitter, hit his bio, and you'll find a link to his site, and all his work is there. And again, really good stuff. I want to thank you all for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow. Anyone sees any links, hit us up on the Trippers Twitter, and let's just lash them into us, and we'll take them on board for tomorrow, and we'll try to talk about as many things as we can. Don't forget the Fantasy League. Go on to our Twitter page, hit the tweet that does the Fantasy League, and join the league and see how you get on. And as I said, there will be prizes and different things throughout the season on that. But look, that's been the LFC Day Trippers. That's been the FB4 Daily. Thanks a million for joining us. Over and out.